Hi, welcome back to my videos. In this video, I am going to explain you French Revolution. This is actually the first chapter of history in CBSE 9th class. Those who follow NCERT textbook can watch this video, and it would be helpful for you to prepare for exams and also to remember the points of French Revolution. Once we learn history, it is actually essential to understand and study just like a story, so that you can easily remember the points, and also it will be very easy to prepare for the exams. So once you enjoy this video, I request you to have some short notes. If you are interested, then it will be helpful for you to remember even after watching my video. Once we speak about French Revolution, we have to speak about its date. It started on 5th May 1789 and ended on 7th November 1799. If we say exactly, it took 10 years, 6 months and 4 days. That means it was a long years of revolution. So before we study this French Revolution, we have to understand the situation. In this time, King Louis XVI was ruling this country, and he was enthroned as a king in 1774, and he was from Bourbon family. The kings are actually ascended from this Bourbon family, and he was married to Antonio Marinette. He was married at the age of 20. Once he was the king of France, the financial situation of the France was very poor, and there were a lot of reasons why the treasury was drained. Once we analyze the poverty of France, we can see a lot of reasons, and one of the reasons is the long years of war. Especially their enemy was Britain, and this France was actually fighting against British people for long years, struggling and fighting with British people. As a result, they had lost a lot of wealth. And secondly, they were leading very luxurious life, especially the noble people, clergy and the king had been leading very luxurious life. They had to maintain the Versailles Palace as a symbol of luxury. This was another reason why France became a poor country. Finally, they had helped American colonies to get freedom from British people. Around 13 American colonies were seeking help from France, and France was supporting these American colonies only because British people were their enemies. As a result, this France had lost a lot of wealth. So these are actually the three main reasons why France had lost its wealth. Now, king had no other way other than raising the tax. So, in order to raise the tax, the king had no capacity to raise the tax alone. He had to call the Estate General. So, he decided to call the Estate General on 5th May 1789 at Versailles Palace. This is actually the very beginning of French Revolution. In the Estate General, there was a problem of voting. 3 representatives of each estate had the permission to attend the assembly, but women, peasants and artisans were rejected to participate in the assembly. So 300 people were allotted from each session. Once the meeting started, there was a problem of voting. Initially, they had been following a system. Each estate had single vote, so it was quite possible to implement the decisions of the king through the support of clergy and noble, as they had the majority. But the third estate people, they rejected this voting system which was existing. They asked for individual voting so that they could get the support of some of the clergies and noble. So they demanded for individual voting, but the king was not ready to accept their demand. So what happened? The third estate people did a walkout. French people had got influence from many philosophers like John Locke, Rousseau, Montesquieu, and so many other philosophers. and these people had led them to have an assembly. On 20th June, they had gathered in the tennis court of Versailles Palace, and they declared that they won't disperse the palace until they draft a constitution for France. Mirabeau and Abbassies were the two people who were leading them to take a decision like this. Mirabeau was actually a noble man who was actually against the fundamental privileges, and he had written a journal and he delivered a lot of speeches that was really motivating the people to draft a constitution. And Abbassies, who belonged to clergy estate, was a priest, and he was also supporting the third estate people, and he had written an influencing pamphlet called What is Third Estate? While they were drafting the constitution in this Versailles palace, the situation in France was in turmoil, and this time there was a bad harvest. Lot of crops were destroyed in this winter. So there was a shortage of food, and the people had to stay in long queues to get a single piece of bread. On 14th July, the rumors were spread that King had sent the troops to fire the people in the town, so they gathered together and formed a people's militia, and on June 14, they attacked and stormed the Bastille prison. Now, we can say that the real revolution was started on this date. So they attacked with horse and pitchforks, and they looted the hoarded grains. As a result, lot of noble people fled away from Paris. Some of the people migrated to other neighboring countries. In this situation, King had to accept some of the demands of these third estate people. On the night of 4th August 1789, they had passed a decree abolishing the feudal system of obligations and taxes. Members of the clergies were asked to sacrifice most of their possessions, and especially the tax which was paid to church called tithe was also taken away by the decree. So this was actually increasing the revenue of the government. I hope you understood this video, and in the next video I am going to explain how France became a constitutional monarchy. Thank you for watching this video.